Hey guys, it's Scott Weddle here, and thanks for tuning in for another session, video, audio, wherever you listen to this, and I super appreciate you being here. Welcome to this sharing that I have for you. So today's topic is really about crafting your entrepreneurial identity, and it's kind of a guide for putting your kind of career into perspective. And I have some cool points to talk about here today. Now, my intention with these videos is to help you make more money and create more time so you can go and live the life that you absolutely love and do what you want in the world. And what I'm sharing with you is coming from a really credible place. We have, we're doing pretty well. We have a few brands doing 7 figures. We collectively doing 8 figures as a kind of group of brands. And yeah, we have a lot of fun doing it. We're still learning, growing ourselves, but we've got a lot of wisdom to share, which is why I'm doing these videos. So let's get into this, guys. So the first thing I want to talk about is really a question. And because a lot of people, they have a story and narrative that they're born an entrepreneur, or they've got the entrepreneurial spirit. And I really believe when people say that they know that's true for them, right? However, what happens when we come into the world is we go through an individuation process from 0 to 6-year-old, where we learn how the world works. And honestly, like most of the time, we've got all this unmet validation from childhood that we're carrying into adulthood, and our ego builds a model of how the world works. And then we recognize that we have drive and desire to do things in the world, and we label that as an entrepreneurial spirit. But a lot of the times it's just not that. A lot of the times it's actually you're trying to literally play out your childhood. You're trying to get the validation that was missing from childhood. And that's called ego tension in my world. I call that your ego's got tension, and you're going out in the world to do all these things to prove dad right or mum right, usually. You see this in a lot of interviews. There is a very kind of famous show out there, The Diary of a CEO. And if you just go and watch a few of the interviews there, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about playing out. And I was watching a video the other day there of a famous comedian, and I honestly can't remember his name, to be completely upfront and honest. I'm not going to try and lie my way out of that one. If it comes back to me during the video, I'll let you know. But anyway, famous comedian, and you would look at this guy on stage and be like, my God, he's got his shit together. But my God, when you go underneath the surface and you listen to that interview, you see exactly what I'm talking about here. So he's actually just his ego has used that wound to create his success. And is there anything wrong with that? No, there's not. Nothing wrong with that. However, like if that's what you've created your success on, that's a very shaky foundation, man. That's a very shaky foundation. So it's only going to take a couple of things for him to snap and break. And that's why you see all these famous actors and stuff like committing suicide, like Robin Williams and stuff. Like who would have thought, right? It's because of this. It's because of the ego tension of like not being validated in childhood and going out there and making it happen. So here's my point is you just got to make sure that you deal with that stuff, man, and you rise above it, and you do the work to get to know yourself, bring awareness to these things so that you don't drive all your action from that place. Because yeah, you'll probably create success, but it's on a shaky foundation. And what will happen is you'll create all the success, and then you'll find a way to sabotage it somehow. Or you'll create all the success, but then you won't actually let yourself have it, and you'll just keep working yourself into the ground over and over again, and you'll tell yourself a story that you actually enjoy it. But it's because you've not even went out and tried other stuff. So you're in your world, you think, yeah, well, this is what I enjoy. This is what I do. This is me. And it's like, well, have you tried anything else? Have you tried fucking chilling out? Have you tried playing golf? Have you tried doing this? Have you tried doing that? And most of the time the answer is no. And then fair enough, if you have tried all that and you figure out that that's what you actually want to do, then fair enough, and then you're not coming from the wrong place, right? However, 95% of the time, you are coming from the wrong place. So it's very important that you realize that the narrative you're telling yourself is sometimes not true, and it takes courage to look at that. So where are you coming from is the question. And it takes courage to admit the truth, because I would much rather be in intention with my truth, rather than intention with my ego. Because the ego is only going to perpetuate, and its job is to prove that the beliefs that you have about yourself are true. Whereas if you're in alignment with your truth, then you're creating something that's true to your heart. And that's where you should come from. And it brings me back to my next point, which is grow where you're planted. Right? Grow where you're planted. Don't get stuck in the trap of like saying you're doing all these things when you're actually not, and trying to look good to the world, and telling all these white lies that add up and stack up over time, when actually in reality, if you were to sit down and write down your truth, then the things that you're saying and what's actually real are a little bit out of alignment. And is there anything wrong with that? No, like, it's just like, I'm not judging that. I'm just bringing awareness to it, right? Because there is nothing wrong with that. And it's like, if you're doing that, like, just forgive yourself, man. It's all good. Just tell yourself the bloody truth. Now, the one big thing that I would love to give you permission on is that it's okay to be where you are. You know, you don't need to go out and pretend that you're something else or someone else. It's okay to be you, not try and be someone else. You get it? So, what a lot of messages go out in the world that you should just motivate yourself from pain, and I really don't believe that, because it's only going to be so far before that tension snaps, because now it's not good enough. I'm feeling this pain, and you drive from that action. Then if you end up getting the result that you want, then there's a massive identity crisis, because your identity is so used to being stuck in suffering and pain that when you end up breaking free of it, then there's a massive identity crisis. So there's going to be something that has to break in your world to bring you back to the old identity, unless you are actually anchored and motivated by a vision of where you're going. You get it? So this is where I'm going. This is who I'm becoming, and showing up as that person, and not actually being motivated by now's not good enough, and I'm going to drive away from that. So grow where you're planted, period. Grow where you're planted. Right. Last point is to really craft this entrepreneurial identity and really get grounding in your career, your business, whatever you're doing. Focus on building one thing that gives you credibility, that actually gives you credibility, because you are a badass. You have a human spirit that's a creator, that's a genius, that's all these things, right? And that is you. However, we still need to manifest that in reality, right? We still need to take that and bring it into reality, so you actually have credibility in reality. And the path that you need to master, and I'm going to go over this very short and sweet and to the point, because this could be a whole days or 3 days worth of training, is when you first start out in your entrepreneurial journey, you're a seeker. You're seeking for ideas. You need to find the idea that's going to make you money in the world. So you're looking for how you're going to create value. Then once you get clarity on that, you take that and you actually become a starter. So what the starter does is creates a minimum viable product in the world that serves a specific group of customers, a specific target avatar, and then finds a way to go out and sell that and enroll people into the product, service, or whatever. That's starter. Okay? So minimum viable product and enrollment and going out and getting your first sales. Then once you've created some value and you've got your product or your service, or both maybe, and you know your avatar and you're going out there, you've got some sales, you've got some customers, you're getting feedback, then you need to build a predictable selling system. So you move into the promoter, okay? So then you need to take that enrollment energy and hustle energy and let go of that and turn into actually building a system that automatically brings in customers over and over and over again without you needing to be there. Okay. Now, if you get lucky and starter, you might figure it out right away. But if you don't, and you rely on too much hustle and free stuff, then you're gonna spend a bit of time and investing money here to get a marketing machine working for you. Then from there, you become a builder. That's the next identity you shift into. So what you do is you look back across the seeker, the starter, and the promoter, and you say to yourself, what have I done to create value in the world? And you start mapping out what you have done in your marketing systems, your sales systems, which are growth engines, and your product and delivery systems, customer systems, which are fulfillment engines. And then in how have you brought all these things together? What are the innovative processes you have in your business to bring things together, which is innovation engines? And then we map out all these engines and create playbooks, okay? And then what happens is you realize that you're doing everything, and then we create a hiring plan to get you out of this and get you out of that and get you out of this and get you out of that, and slowly move you up and out so you can become the next phase, which is a guide of your company, where you are not in details anymore. You shift from details into inspiration and motivation and leading your team and building a team, and allowing you to actually stay above the business, work on the business and above the business, so you're not in it, okay? And then you can really call yourself an entrepreneur. But until then, you've not really earned it. You've not really earned it. And there's nothing wrong with that either, by the way, but you just got to be honest about it. If you've not done this yourself, you're not an entrepreneur. You might have the potential to be one, and you might have the entrepreneurial spirit, as we call it. But you've not earned it. And you got to be honest about that. Not lie to yourself because you want to be validated in the world. So guys, that's my opinion, guys. It's literally always check in where you're coming from, because if you've got all these narratives in your brain, and you're identifying with this, I'm an entrepreneur, you're so stuck in that identity. Like, why are you so obsessed with that? Why does it matter so much that everyone needs to know? Why? No, why? Where are you coming from, man? Where are you coming from? Because if you're that identified with it, then I'm skeptical. And if you're that tied into it being your identity, then I'm skeptical. Okay? Why can't you just be a fucking creator? Just putting it out there. Why can't you just be fucking warrior of your heart, and that you're fucking going for the stuff you want to go for in life, right? And like, you'll become an entrepreneur along the way. But like you say, focus on building that one thing that gives you cred, and then you can stand up and be like, I actually have done this. This is what I've done. I am an entrepreneur because, look, this is what I've done. And I've taken that spirit inside of me in my heart, and I've bloody manifested it in reality. And that is inspiring, my friend. That's inspiring. Talky. Look at me. It's not inspiring at all. It's off-putting. What is inspiring is you creating something from your heart and putting it out there in the world and fucking going for it. That's what's inspiring. Cool, my friend. Hopefully this helped you, give you perspective. Let me know what you got out of today's video. I would love to hear that. You can, if you've not followed this channel yet, follow it, like, subscribe, comment below. Let me know. I'd love to connect with you. With that said, I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next session, the next audio, the next video, wherever you listen to this. Bye for now.